Making your own sriracha sauce at home is a great way to hide some probiotics into your family's favorite condiments and make it absolutely delicious and healthy. It's a great way to get a good kick out of your food. Most sriracha sauces that you buy at the grocery store have been fermented initially, but then they've been boiled and pasteurized. This means that we're taking something that would be an amazing health benefit to our family in a very probiotic fermented state, and we're pasteurizing it. That seems like such a shame. So instead, today I'm going to be showing you how to make a fermented, probiotic-rich sriracha sauce that you're going to be amazed at the flavor. It's really, really good. So let's talk about the different ingredients that we're going to need. First of all, you're going to need some red peppers. Now, originally, the very first sriracha sauce was made with red serrano peppers, but those got a little expensive for the company to keep up, so they went ahead and they switched to red jalapenos. Now, a red jalapeno is just a jalapeno that has been ripened on the vine. Unfortunately, red jalapenos are almost impossible to find in the grocery store, so if you're gardening and you're growing jalapenos, make sure you leave a bunch on the vine so that they can actually turn red and not just be green. If you can't get those, the store-bought alternative are Fresno peppers. That's what I have right here. It's too early when I'm filming this in the season for me to have jalapenos out in the garden. That won't happen here in North Idaho until probably September. Fresnos are great. The flavor's really good. They're a little bit spicier than those jalapenos. They are a little bit thinner walled, so they have a little bit less flesh. So you're going to need about 1.5 pounds of these for a single batch. You're going to want some really good quality salt. Now, by good quality, I mean something that doesn't have any extra chemicals in it or any extra processes. You won't want anything that's called table salt. That probably has iodine in it. Iodine can actually stop your fermentation process. Right here, I'm using Redmond real salt. This is the salt I use in my house. I absolutely love it. I use it all the time. So you're going to need about 1 tablespoon of this. In order to kick up that ferment and to balance the flavors, you're also going to need a little bit of a sweetener. This is a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. You could use a really good quality white sugar, like an evaporated cane juice crystal or something like that. That would be really good too, but I love the richness of flavor that the brown sugar provides. It just really helps it a little bit. Make sure that you're using organic and non-GMO for anything like this. A little bit of garlic, about 6 large cloves. I threw an extra one in here just for fun because we really like our sriracha nice and garlicky. Now, you won't need it right in the very first step, but by the time this is all done fermenting, you're going to want some vinegar. This is really going to bring out the flavors. Traditional sriracha is kind of boiled in a vinegar in the final step, and right there it's killing off all the good probiotics. So when we go to add the vinegar in at the end, we're not going to boil it, so we want to start with really good quality raw apple cider vinegar. I always buy mine from Azure Standard. They have a really good quality. Plus I can buy it bulk in 5-gallon buckets, which I absolutely love because we use it for everything around the household. So you'll need some of that on hand for about a week into the process. Okay, the other things you're gonna want maybe a food processor, a blender is really handy. You could use either of those. You're gonna need a quart mason jar is just fine with a lid, a nice clean lid. And all of these need to be really, really clean, but they don't need to be sterilized. Now, optionally, if you have these on hand, you don't need to go buy one, but little pickle pipes like this, they're little fermenting pipes that let the gases escape without letting too much oxygen in, which means you're not getting mold spores into there. So these can be really handy. There's all sorts of different varieties, colors. I'll put a link to something that I use down below. You could also use an old-fashioned airlock kit that can come for a quart-sized jar, and that would work just fine. You can just use these lids. We're gonna be burping it every day, so it'll be okay. But these make your life a lot easier. All right, now whenever you're working with hot peppers, you really want to have something on your hands, especially when you're processing really large batches. I have not done it before and regretted it from a sleepless night from burning hands and processing large batches of salsa before. So now I always use some disposable gloves when I'm working with large batches of peppers. So let's get started. I have my food processor all fitted with the S-blade in here. So it is ready to go. And as I process these peppers, I'm just gonna drop them right on in here. Now it's totally up to you if you want to leave the seeds in or if you want to remove them. This is kind of your chance to do it though. So if you want to just remove a few, that's fine. Of course, the seeds make it a little bit spicier. Seeds can also add a little bit of bitterness to it. I don't find that it's really a problem in this. I think it all balances out pretty nicely. So I'm just gonna slice the tops off there, just get a little bit of the seeds out, just because I've got a bunch of kids in the house who aren't sure that they like it too hot. Then I'm just kind of cutting them in half. The food processor is really gonna do the work for us here. Now we have all of our peppers into our food processor. So we want to go ahead and add the other ingredients. So we're just going to go ahead and dump in our whole cloves of garlic, our tablespoon of salt. And if you want the step-by-step directions for this recipe, make sure you check out the attached blog post. I'll put the notes down in the description. We'll have a complete printable recipe card for you there. And the sugar. All right, we're just gonna pulse this up till it's really well blended. Scrape down the sides, make sure you get it all really well blended. Oh my goodness, that smells so good. It's gonna make my nose run though. It's pretty strong, it's potent. Now we're going to transfer this to our really clean jar. A funnel helps a lot if you have one on hand. Make sure you get all of that liquid in there. And all the pulp. Don't leave any of it behind. Now with all of the sugar and the salt in here, you're going to see over the next few days the liquid develop more. It's going to actually pull the liquid out of the peppers. So this is our moment. We want to go ahead and cap it down. Now again, you can use that 2-part lid. Just put it on. Go ahead and put it on pretty tightly. This is not going to create enough gases over one 24-hour period that you're going to have an exploding jar or anything like that. If you do have one of these airlock type things at home, go ahead and pop that on. That'll help too. Now we're going to set this onto a warm or just room temperature counter just right in your kitchen. Once a day, you're going to want to get a very clean spoon and just stir it up. What you want to look for are the bubbles starting. You want the bubbles. The bubbles are good, and they're your sign that fermentation is kicking off. After that, you're going to give it about 2 to 3 more days of sitting on the counter until you notice that the liquid stops growing and instead comes back down a little bit. That's your sign that your active fermentation period is over and it's time to move on to the next step. So I'm going to set this aside and I'll see you back here when mine has finished actively fermenting. My Sriracha sauce has been sitting for a week now fermenting, and look at the amazing color. Isn't it gorgeous? It smells so good. This is phenomenal. I cannot wait to eat this. But we need to go ahead and take the next step here in the process. which is gonna be to blend this up with that apple cider vinegar. Now, again, you know, regular recipes for Sriracha call for using a distilled white vinegar, but why? When you could get the health benefits of using a raw apple cider vinegar, this is just really going to boost that probiotic and enzyme action that's gonna happen with this. So we're gonna get it all right into a blender. Being careful, make sure you don't splash this up into your eyes. That might be something to cry about if you did. That would hurt. Okay, so we're gonna get that all in there along with that apple cider vinegar. We're just really going to puree this until it is entirely smooth. This just smells spicy. It smells amazing. Ooh, look, I'm gonna even be able to fill up a little bit of another jar here. And look at this, you guys. This is, wow. It smells so good. Okay, can I give it a try? Am I brave enough? Let's see. Wow. And that is nice and spicy. Hey, you guys, you gotta try it. And if you're interested in other great condiments that you can make at home and make them healthier by adding some fermented elements, check out this video right here.